Hi folks, and welcome back to Sweden. Today I want to show you all of the gear I took to the mountains for my last video. If you haven't seen it, I will link it down below, and yeah, let's get straight into it. My backpack was the Mammut Creon Guide 35 liter backpack, and for me 35 liters is the perfect size if I plan to go for a trip that is no longer than 2 or 3 days. And on the outside of the backpack I've got my trekking poles. These are the Compardale Speed Trail, just regular extendable trekking poles made of aluminium. And for this trip they were super essential because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to walk through the deep snow. The other thing I've got on the outside of my bag is a water bottle, and this is the Kalenji Soft Flask 500. I will get into my water system a little bit later in this video. This backpack has got one top compartment where I put everything that I want easy access to without having to open my backpack. So I've got a cap, a headlamp, sunglasses, a rain jacket. I've got some thin gloves, a tube scarf or a buff, my first aid kit, and a fleece sweatshirt. Let's get to the interesting stuff and open up the backpack. And up here I've got my tent. This is the 4-class trekking pole tent, MT900 minimal edition for one person. It's ultra light and you can pack it down to a way smaller package than it is packed right now. And the good thing about this tent is that you use your trekking poles as your tent poles, so you don't have to bring an extra pair of poles for your tent, which saves a lot on weight and packing volume. I will definitely make a video just about the tent, getting deeper into this tent and trekking pole tents in general, because yeah, I just love the idea. So next up in my backpack is my sleeping mat. This is the Expat Sinmat Winterlight. It's an ultralight and ultra compact sleeping pad which is made for 4 seasons, so it will also keep you warm in winter. Just keep in mind that these ultralight pads aren't super robust and you have to be a bit careful with them if you don't want to get holes in them. Okay, so now let's talk about my drinking system. I brought 2 bottles for this trip, the Soft Flask 500 I mentioned earlier, and the Salomon Soft Flask 490 millimeter with the XA water filter. First of all, I love these soft flasks because they are super compact, and if they are empty you can pack them down super small, and they are super light as well. I've got 1 bottle with a filter and 1 bottle without a filter, and if I'm not sure about the water I first fill up the bottle with the filter and then pour the water through the filter in the other bottle, and then fill this bottle again so I can drink from here and drink straight to the filter. And this water here has been filtered before, so I can drink it out of here as well. Okay, so next up is a warmer jacket. This is the Haglöf's Spire Mimic Hood Man. It's not a down jacket, it's filled with a synthetic material which doesn't keep you as warm as down, but the good thing with this jacket is that it will also keep you warm when it's wet. Next up, this was a game changer for this trip. This is a very small seating pad, foldable seating pad. This here is also from 4-class, and yeah, it's super luxurious to have a dry place where you can sit no matter where you are. Okay, so now we are getting to my cooking system. I brought 230 grams of gas. I always love to carry a bit of extra gas because I love to drink my tea in the morning and in the evening, and I also love to cook warm food, and I don't always want to check and think about if I have enough gas left to drink another tea. So I always bring more gas than I need. My stove is this small no-name stove which I bought at Biltema, which is a popular Swedish car and outdoor store. It's quite cheap and it packs a lot of punch. I don't think that this is the most fuel efficient stove you can buy though, but for me it always does the job. And then as my pot, I bought this 450 milliliter pot from Snow Peak with a lid. I always try to use a lid because your water boils up way faster and you save a lot of energy. Inside of the pot I've got a foldable spork, 2 fire lighters, and I've also got my toilet paper in here because it perfectly fits inside. So next up is an inflatable pillow. This one is the Cocoon Aircore travel pillow. I'm not super happy with this one yet. I think I will try one of those trekking pillows that is not inflatable because I think it will be even more comfortable. And now we're getting to the boring stuff. I've got a microfiber towel. I've got my sunscreen, toothpaste, my toothbrush, and I also always bring my deodorant. And last but not least, in the main compartment, I've got a small bag that I use for rubbish. In the lower compartment of my backpack, I always carry my sleeping bag. For this trip I used the Mountain Equipment Firelight sleeping bag. It's a down sleeping bag and it's ultra light and you can pack it down ultra compact. It's rated at -2 degrees Celsius as its comfort rating. For me, I would more rate it like a +3 because I slept at about -1, -2 degrees Celsius and I had to wear my jacket and all my layers to have a comfy night. And then I've got a small compartment at the front of my bag. Inside of this is a power bank. And the last thing in my backpack is this iPhone charging cable. Before we get to my clothes, there is one last thing I always bring on my trips, which is my phone. I use Gaia GPS for navigation and also for travel planning at home. Another app that I used was YR, which is a Norwegian weather app. And of course I use the phone to keep in contact with my family and friends. And regarding my outfit, besides of the stuff I already showed you, I had some light jogging pants from the North Face. My base layer was long merino underpants, a long sleeve t-shirt and merino socks. And my shoes were the Salomon Predict Hike Mid Gore-Tex. Again, I like to wear light clothing, so I always like to wear light shoes. So that was all the gear I brought to the mountains. Of course, I brought some food, which I will share in another video, and I also brought some camera equipment, which I will share in another video as well. So if you're interested in that, consider liking and subscribing, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.